voice like Hollywood.
Welcome to my new podcast, Slow Mundane Living. And yeah, I'm super excited to share this new project with you. I've been thinking about it for lots of time, and I really think now is a moment to share and go outside, because my work with the Slow Mundane is not only nutrition, it's really a lot more. It's slow living, it's more intentional living, conscious living, spirituality, human design is now also a new part of it. And yeah, much more comes there comes always more to it. So I have this calling to create this platform and share also interviews with very inspiring people. I think I have to share also something important. So my first guest today is Linda from Lisbon, and she was one of the first coming in my mind when I was thinking about my first invitees. So yeah, Linda, she's basically, I know her since 2 years, and I coached her first in nutrition, and then she kind of became a guru herself, kind of, and she's now holding space for other women. Human design is one of her tools, but also kind of women's circles. I took part in one or two of women's circles, and it was beautiful. I loved it, and I can only recommend it to everybody speaking French to do that. And she's just great in holding space and making you feel very, very safe. Yeah. And yeah, she's also doing now third kind of tool. She's using a third tool, which she will explain us quickly now when after I introduced her. But our topic today will be human design, because human design is also very important for me. It changed my life, honestly, and changes some life people, and especially women who have a problem with boundaries. And it's very, very amazing to explore that. Yeah. And just to say quickly, I will also work human design in a different way, more human design and digestion. I'm still in the middle of learning it. And yeah, Linda, she generally working with human design, like generally, creating a space for everyday life, let's say, for women. Yeah. So today, this is our topic, human design. What does it do for your life? And yeah, I'm very happy to have Linda here. And if you want, you can also say something to introduce yourself, maybe something I forgot, and especially the third part you're now working with. Maybe say something about this.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, first for inviting me here. I'm super happy to be here with you. And for the little introduction. So yes, just to summarize, I'm basically passionate about creating spaces where we can just be it all and feel. And so because that's also what I want for myself. So I'm doing that with human design, as you beautifully said, because I think it's an amazing tool to really give ourselves permission just to be who we are. And I also love offering women circles. And I'm also now starting to work with nervous system regulation, because I also know that, at least in my case, most of the time, what is preventing me from being me are my fears and my stuck emotions, let's say. So it's very important for me to also release the old stuck emotion and work on my nervous system, so I can just then free flow.
That's super interesting. Yeah, we will make another podcast episode about this. About you. Yeah. Okay. So today the topic, as I said, is human design. So what changed in your life since you discovered your own human design?
Yeah. So
maybe say a little bit what human design is first, before because not everybody from our listeners know what human design is.
Yeah. So human design basically is a system that is based on different more ancient systems, like for example astrology or the I Ching, also the energetical centers, and also more modern sciences like quantum physics. And basically it's a tool that really helps you to to see yourself and to get to know yourself. So it's really a tool for self knowledge, basically, which I think is very precious. And it's a tool that actually comes from the stars, so from the cosmos, from the stars, and because it is based to get your human design chart. So it's a chart that you read, and to get your chart, you need to input a date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth. And to be honest, the first time I heard about that, I was highly skeptical. I was like, how come my date of birth will say who I am? I was very skeptical. But I remember like human design came to me actually through you, because I heard about it like many years ago. But when I saw the chart and it looked so complex, I was like, no, I cannot be bothered.
Yeah.
It looks so complex. It looks super weird. Why is it based on date of birth? Like, I was like, no.
Yeah.
But then I was in this coaching with you, and I was having gut issues, like, and energy issues, like I was having a chronic fatigue and anxiety and many things. And what I liked about your coaching is that it was about food, but also it was also a holistic coaching. So we were talking a lot about energy and also joy. And I
Mm.
remember this conversation with you where I realized, I lost so much joy in my life. And then you mentioned, you should look up your human design chart. And I was like, oh, okay. It's the second time it's coming to me. Maybe that's something in it for me. And I was, to be honest, so desperate because I was feeling so bad at the time. And I thought, okay, I'm going to look. And I had a friend, Natalie. I knew that she had her human design reading already. And okay, Natalie, tell me, like, give me recommendations. So she gave me like several contacts. And there was one that I felt just good feeling about her, and I went for it. And what I was saying is that it's a system that comes from the stars, but at the same time, it's so practical. I find it so, so, so practical. And I think that's why it's really changing so many people's lives, because it's something that we can really like put in practice in our life. It's not only something nice to hear about yourself, but it's really like practical. And basically when I had my reading, like it just changed. I want to say everything. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I do feel it changed everything. So the first thing that it changed is that I got to understand how my energy works. This was like enlightening for me. And I learned that basically my energy is very sensitive to joy. So basically, if I do something that lights me up, it will give me a lot of energy, and I will feel a lot of joy. And also it will make me also more magnetic. So somehow it will also attract the right people, the right opportunities to me. So this was a huge change, because it was like my permission slip for joy, because, I grew up, I think like many of us, with this conditioning of like is, and I have to, and I should, and this and that. And also like, also this culture of like, this belief that says, you have to work hard and you have to force, and the more effort you put and the best result you get. And when I got my reading, I was like, okay, for me it doesn't work like that. Like the more I force and the more I get depleted, and the less I have energy. And this is how I ended up in your coaching, actually, like being just
Yeah.
tired, and always tired. And I was making so many effort in my life hygiene, but it was still not working. And
Yeah,
it
you were
was
kind of in the hustle modus.
totally, I
Yeah.
was full on in that mode. And it also took me to burnout, basically. Like a few years ago, I had a burnout. So me not giving space to my joy and just forcing, it was just like sucking all my energy out, like all my juice. And when I
Yeah.
had that reading, I was like, oh, that's why. It's because I give no space to joy, duties and everything. And then it's like I learned that joy is like a fuel for me. And when I don't get that fuel, I'm just tired and
Yeah.
I cannot do anything. So this
Yeah.
was the first thing. Yeah, the second thing was to understand how my inner guidance works, and how my intuition, and how I would best make. This has been like just changed because, of course, like many of us, like when I was making decision, I was using my mind. I was going in the mind and I was like, okay, pros and cons, and what am I gonna get as a result if I take that action and if I make that decision. And with the reading, I learned that I'm not designed at all to make decisions based on the mind. Those are not like good for me. And what works super well for me is actually to tune in into my gut. And it was so like funny in a way because I was coming to you for gut issues. So I like to see it like me not listening to my real intuition, which is for me in my gut,
Yeah.
brought some kind of like gut issues on the physical level. So yeah, so it really gave me permission to tune more into my body and to really listen to my gut instead of the ideas and thought and thinking in my mind that were taking me nowhere because, I was thinking for hours. And then at the end, I was still so doubtful about which decision I should make. While with the gut, it's just like yes or no, and it's just simple. So it
Yeah.
also brought a lot of ease and joy and simplicity in my life.
And not always this guilt.
Uh,
Also not this guilt, I find.
yes,
What is also what
this
changed
guilt.
for me is when I, for example, if I feel in the morning at once, actually, I'm not in the mood anymore to go to that dinner, you know, to when
Yeah,
you then
yeah,
say in the past, I was not able to say, sorry, I'm not coming anymore because I'm not feeling in my energy.
yeah,
And now I can say
yeah,
that without any guilt. And I just think it's actually a service I'm
yeah.
giving to the persons for not showing up in the bad energy because
Totally,
this
totally.
is actually going in the completely wrong sense then. And actually it's not as generators, that's our calling to give energy to others. And you are not a
Yeah,
generator. I know
yeah,
you are MG, but yeah.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
changed for me
But
completely.
yeah, can relate to that. And I like what you say about the guilt. It's like the huge, also one of the huge change is the guilt. Because for example, me, I'm a manifesting generator. And so like a generator, I could also feel guilty when I allow myself to do something that gives me joy. I was feeling some guilt, but also like as a manifesting generator, my energy is very like, I am wired to change all the time and to do many things at the same time and to move a bit fast. And sometimes I would, start something and then I don't finish it, or sometimes I jump
Yeah.
from one thing to another one. And I used to feel so guilty about it. I was like, what's wrong with you? Like you like something and then you don't like it anymore. And then I changed jobs so many times. You don't know how many jobs I had. And then when I heard in the reading, like you are designed to be like that, I was like, oh, it makes so much sense. And I can just finally, let myself be like that and pivot when I need to pivot because it's just my nature to explore so many things and to do so many things at
To
the
be
same time. So
multi-passionate. Yeah.
it really, yeah, multi-passionate. So it left a lot of guilt from my shoulders. And
Yeah.
then the last huge change for me, of course, there are many changes, but I would talk just only about the biggest ones. Like one that was huge for me was to learn about, so, in human design, super well human design, but just to explain to people that are listening and
Yeah.
maybe they are new to this, we have centers in our bodies, like we have 9, and some of them are set defined. So this is where we will bring our energy to the table, and some of them are open, and this is where we would receive energy from others. And I learned that my emotional center was wide open. I know you also have an open emotional
Yeah.
center because I looked at your chart. And so I think you feel me. But it was a huge revelation because, with this wide open center, I'm just receiving emotions from others, emotions that are not mine. And I used to see myself like so emotional. Always something with me, highly, highly sensitive and this kind of thing. And then when I learned about that, I was like, oh, wow, okay. Actually, I'm taking in emotions that are not mine. And then I love that you talked also about boundaries because then I started also to set some energetical boundaries like, oh, okay, I'm feeling something. Is it mine? Not mine? It's not mine. Energetical boundary. I just send it back.
Yeah.
And it removed like a huge weight because I was processing so many emotions that were not
Yeah.
mine. And,
Yeah.
and at the same time, it gives me the possibility to use somehow, I like to call it like a superpower, because when we have this center wide open, we are very empathetic. So we can really feel others where they are and how they feel. But if when I'm taking on other people's emotions, I'm overwhelmed, and then I cannot use my superpower to feel others. So when
Yeah.
I set my energetical boundaries, then I can use my power to hold space for others, but without feeling overwhelmed myself,
Yeah. And
right?
without thinking that they're your
So
emotions. Yeah. That's what makes a huge
totally,
change. Yeah. So basically, what I
yeah,
just hear out, what you just said, is that it helped you to set boundaries. It helped you to make decisions in a much more intuitive way, and it took away the guilt. Complete
totally,
self-acceptance, and also the way how you are,
totally.
like multi-passionate and feeling
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it's normal for you to hop from one passion to the other and stop that hobby or
totally.
whatever you are doing,
Yeah,
even jobs, it
yeah.
has to be
Basically,
like this.
embrace yeah. And basically,
Yeah,
it just gave me permission to embrace my uniqueness, because,
that's it.
I feel that many of us, we are growing up with an idea of what we should be or how we should behave. And then when we find ourselves different from the crowd, we feel a bit like, oh, there's something wrong with me. And then when I
Yeah,
got the reading, I was like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just wired like that. And that's it. And I'm meant to be
yeah,
like that. So it's just like, poof,
yeah.
freeing, like
Yeah, and if you
freedom.
live that exactly, that's what I found myself so empowering was if I live exactly how I am and supposed to be and designed to be, if I live that design and I respect that design and I communicate this also to my outside world, then I'm meant to be successful and happy. So that was
Totally.
actually that's a kind
Totally.
of liberation, complete
Yeah,
liberation for me. Yeah, it's and also to
totally. And
knowing
also,
that so much easier for me to say to other people what I need because I knew that's how I
yeah,
am. I didn't even feel second thoughts about it, and
exactly.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah. I
Okay,
yeah, I love what you say. Yeah.
yeah, no, just say what you wanted to say.
No, I was just saying, I love what you say, that it gives also permission to honor our own specific needs, because, my needs might be different from yours. And
Yeah,
sometimes it used to make me wrong for needing something to be this way, because I was comparing myself to others.
yeah,
And I think that a lot of us are comparing because we are so used to compare ourselves. And
yeah,
at the same time, when we learn that we are not meant to be the same, then it also helps to, letting go of comparing and just like, yeah, I'm not meant to be like Sarah. I'm meant to be Linda. So I
exactly.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
also what I find powerful in it, also to use it with my kids. But that's another topic.
Yeah.
Maybe I will do another
Yeah.
episode on that.
Yeah.
Design and kids. Um,
Yeah.
So let's come to the question. Do you think everybody could profit from human design? You kind of already answered it
Yes,
to
big
a
yes.
bit, but
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I would say a big yes. But then, of course, it all depends on if you want it. What I mean is that it's for people that are really wanting to get to know themselves. I think we help them because it's an amazing tool. There are many tools for self-knowledge, and I find that this one, to me, is the one that resonates the most, and it's so accurate. So if you feel like you would like to get to know yourself better, how you work, how you function. It's like this instruction manual about your energy and how your energy works. And if you also, like me, me, I have this huge craving for free to be me. I think it definitely can help. And also if you are willing also to practice it, because it's like yoga. Yoga, you can learn about yoga, you can study yoga, but if you don't do your practice, then nothing happens. And with human design it's the same. You can learn, and there's so much on the internet at the moment about human design. You can learn so many information, but in my opinion, it doesn't help to know so much if you don't do anything with it. So it's, in my opinion, it's better to like, not focus on the amount of information, but focus on, okay, what is really important, and I'm gonna start practicing that with baby steps,
yeah,
basically.
taking out a few things of it and then do that. And how does your work with human design look like? like in practical?
Yeah, so I offer basically readings. So when somebody wants to, when a woman, for example, wants to get a reading, what I do is that I like to work with intentions. I find them very powerful. So I would always invite the woman to set an intention with her reading. So sometimes some women, they say, yeah, my intention is just to get to know myself better. Some other, they just want to have more energy. Some others, they just want to know more about some, so this kind of thing. And then I also ask them to share with me like where they are in their lives and if there are any topic that areas of their life they want to explore through the lens of human design. Because I think you know how it is, Sarah, with human design. You can talk for 20 hours on a chart. You know, there's so many information, so much to say. And as I just said before, it's not useful, you know, to talk about it for 20 hours. Relevant to, you know, to see, okay, where are you today? And then we just like extract from the chart what are the most relevant and supportive information to where you are today, basically. And then you can have another reading when you need something else, because maybe one time you will want to do a reading regarding your business. Maybe you will want to do a reading regarding your kids and parenting, or maybe your couple or whatever, like myself. And then once I have the intention and I know a bit like what the person, where is the person, I will need from her, so her date of birth, time and place, and then I will pull out the chart. And then prior to the session, I will start digging in the chart and somehow like try to tune in to what the chart wants to tell for that person. So a bit like that. So I will have some preparation work prior to the session. And then once I have done that, we have a session together. So, and we sit for around an hour together, where I will share what I've seen in the chart. And also I like it to be like a conversation, because I find there's so much magic happening when the person receiving the reading is also reacting to it and saying, oh yeah, it makes me think of this, or and just, you know, there is a conversation.
Yeah, because
And
otherwise
yeah,
you just listen and get again overwhelmed by information, and you don't apply it directly on your life. So it's very good to directly see like
exactly.
links. Yeah.
Links, totally links. And then after the reading, I'm now also starting to go a bit deeper, because I also realized that it's a highly practical tool and it really needs to take practice. And at the same time, it's not that easy, you know, when we want to let go of some habits that we had for years and starting to implement new habits. For all of us, it's challenging. So I'm also like, for the ones that want to go deeper, I'm also offering some kind of follow-up sessions. And here the focus will be really on the practice and the practicality of it. So, you know, how
So implementing it.
Implementing it, because moving from the what to the how, because how, but then how do I do it, you know? So it's about that. Yeah. Then you can go deeper.
That's amazing. Yeah. Actually, you already answered my fourth question, which was what you want to go deeper. So my next question would be, what is learning you want to pass on to generators and MG, especially like us too? Because I'm a generator and you are MG. What is something you would like to share?
Yeah, actually, we had this idea of doing like a kind of mini live reading of your design. And I thought maybe maybe we could go into it now, and then the learning will also come from that, because you know, we are talking, you and I, we know the human design system quite well, but I think many people don't know so much. It's quite new still for some other people. We can do in this mini live reading, so people get to understand what is a generator, you know, what in the world is a generator. And then we can go to that question that I really like. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. All right, so I was saying a reading, it takes around an hour, so of course we're not gonna do that now. So what I'm gonna do is just to share some hints of your design and what I just for the people to know. You gave me your date of birth, all the data regarding your birth, and I generated your chart and I looked at it. So let me take my note. So I think what I'm going to say, you already know. because you are
Maybe
very
I hear
familiar.
something
I know
new. You
that you're
never
very
know.
familiar. Yeah, but in my experience, it feels always good to hear again about yourself, and it's just so I would say just enjoy. And I will be, of course, also interested in your action. So the first thing, of course, I want to say about you when I look at your chart. So of course, you are a generator, and we talked already a little bit about this, but as a generator, for you as well, like joy really works like a fuel, you know. And basically, for you, the more you are lit up, the more you have energy to do things and to create, and also the more joy you feel. But also this joy is not only for you, you will generate this joy also for the people around you. So somehow when you do what lights you up, you're gonna uplift the people around you. So being around you can feel, when you are lit up, when you do things that give you joy, can be very, very uplifting. So I remember
Yeah.
when I was having the coaching sessions with you and you were coaching me, I was feeling uplifted, you know, when I was in your energy, because you were so excited about, you know, nutrition and food. And then when I was talking with you, I remember I was like, "Ah," getting a lot of good energy. And that's also what I like coaching. So that's really part of your magic, is that this ability to generate energy for yourself when you follow what gives you joy, generate joy for yourself, and then overflow it to the people around you, and they will also feel uplifted just by being in your aura, you know.
Yeah.
And then also part of your magic is that the more you will, maybe you find yourself that when you allow yourself to follow your joy, you will find that not only you have more energy and more joy, but also maybe there's magic happening in your life and some opportunities coming to your way, or some people coming to your way. Maybe you attract more clients, because the magic of your aura is that it is magnetic. So when you follow your joy, it builds up your aura, and then you will just attract things to you
Yeah.
that you were not expecting, but they are just coming. And the thing is that when you do things that light you up, it can be really like flowing and working and like creativity and everything. And when you force yourself, but you are not feeling lit up, then somehow it's not going to work. So of course you can still force yourself and create, but something is going to be off, you know,
Yeah.
and somehow it's not going to work so well. Yeah. So I would like to already pause and just see like, how do you feel about that, and just hear a bit.
So yeah, I completely resonate with what you're saying, and that's why it's also a great example by, for example, what we said before, like when you are not in the mood, when I'm not in the mood to go somewhere to a dinner, or I'm not just feeling my energy, that it's a good thing to not go there, because as you said, if I'm not
Yeah,
lit up and not in my energy, then things will be off. Like I can even
totally.
start, I feel like that I'm even rejecting people, you know, I feel like that there's even a
Yeah.
kind of anti-energy around me or something. So that's why
Yeah.
I now always tune into
Yeah.
myself. And is this lighting me up? Where's my joy? How can I improve
Yeah.
this? Even about routines, what do I need now?
Hmm.
And it's so powerful. And also about this podcast, I felt
Yes.
like I wanted to start it
Yeah.
already 2 months ago, or like 1.5 months ago. And then
Hmm.
once I felt not in my energy, and I felt like overwhelmed and in the not very, in my energy. And I postponed it. And now I feel this
Yeah.
butterflies. While we are talking, I feel like, wow, my
Yeah.
sakra is jumping. And it's so much
Yeah.
fun to do this. And so yeah, it was good
Yeah,
for me to
exactly.
wait and not say, but in my old
Yeah.
self, my old before human design self would have said, no, I now made this appointment with Linda to make this interview. We have
Yeah.
to do it. Uh, and no,
Yeah.
sometimes it's
Totally.
good to postpone or to cancel things. It's a service to others and to myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I completely
Yeah.
resonate with
Yeah.
what you just said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And this makes me want to talk about also how you are designed to, you know, create opportunities, and how you're designed to make decisions. So, and it's very related to what you just said. Like for you, things might work better when you let things come to you, and when you don't go after things, which is super difficult because we have been told that you need to make it happen and go for it and go after things and force, and the more effort, the better, da 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 da. But
Yeah.
actually in your design, it's not at all true. Like the more you force, the more you will maybe meet resistance actually. And the more also you will feel depleted because you are not
Yeah.
designed to work like that. And also you were talking about the sacral. So for the people listening, so the sacral is generators and manifesting generators, they are called sacral beings. And basically it's this body and gut response when things are coming to us. We just feel, lit up or not lit up. And for you, it works really well when you dare to follow that response. So Sarah, do you want to come over for dinner tonight? And then you connect and you're like, no. And then you're like, yeah, but come on, you haven't seen Linda for ages. You really need to go to this dinner. But your body is just, no, I'm not feeling it. It's not lighting me up, and full stop. And then it will
Yeah.
just, so when you dare to honor what your gut response is telling you, and then you set those boundaries and you say, okay, thank you for the invite, Linda, but not today. I feel today I need to be with myself. Then magic just happens. And those are the most aligned decisions for yourself, because then you will replenish your energy. So for example, I like the podcast example, because indeed we plan to do it earlier, but then you contacted me and say, hey Linda, I feel like I need to postpone it. And it was amazing because today is the perfect day, So it's
Yes.
like your sacral, yes. So your sacral will tell you if it's yes or no, but it will also tell you about the right timing, when you have the energy or not to do something. So it's just a magical tool that you have
Yeah.
in your body. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing to give. I think it's very cool always with human design to give examples. So just what you just said, about Linda, Sarah, do you want to come to the dinner? I have a very good example where it didn't work like this because, as you also said, it needs
Yeah.
practice. And also
Yeah.
even me, I needed a lot of practice to
Yeah.
really do it. Sometimes I did it,
Me
sometimes I didn't
too.
do it. And yeah, so it was, I think, last year, autumn or something. I was invited to a dinner, and the day before, I was not feeling. I just was not feeling it. I was feeling the resistance to go there, and I contacted the host and said, "No, I'm not coming. Actually, I'm very sorry, but I didn't have a babysitter." And it's true. The universe was telling me all kind of hints,
Yeah.
not go there. There's no babysitter.
Yeah.
So she answered, "Oh, as you
Yeah.
said, also, I haven't seen you for so long, and I would be so nice if you come, etc., etc. And can't you find another babysitter?" So I reacted against my gut response. I got like
Yeah.
this ball in the gut. No, no, don't get there. And I
Mm,
found another babysitter. I
mm,
went there. I dragged myself there. Actually, honestly, I came there, I
yeah.
didn't feel my energy, I didn't look in my energy, and I was not in the mood
Yeah.
to talk. And yeah, so, and it was a
Yeah. You
not nice
force
evening.
yourself. Yeah.
She never invited us
Yeah.
back because I was not in my energy. So just
Yeah.
to say, do a service. I would have done a service to say, sorry, no, it's nice, but I really want to see you.
Yeah.
Let's go for coffee next week. That would have been the right answer.
Totally.
And this, but it's not a
Yeah.
problem to do this, have these experiences because it's learnings. For me,
Yeah.
this was a
Totally.
learning again, and since then
Yeah.
I'm completely
Yeah.
listening to this. So just a good example.
Yeah.
I find
Yeah.
this is so important
Yeah.
to understand the
I agree.
practicality of it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And what you just shared, I have lived it so many times. And I'm studying human design a lot, and I'm doing readings and everything. But of course, I also find myself, sometimes not listening to my inner authority, not listening to my gut, and it's still happening, But then it's just about, catching myself when I'm doing it. Oh, Linda, you are doing it. Now you are forcing
Yeah.
yourself. And also, it's also interesting, in your chart, you have this wide open head center. You also have the open ego, and you have the open emotional. And of course, like, we said that the open centers, you receive energy from others. So, when you have this open emotional and somebody is inviting you for dinner, because you are so attuned to the other person emotion, you're afraid to hurt her somehow. So you're like, oh, she really wants me to come. I don't feel like it, but yeah, I'm going to say yes because I don't want to hurt her. Or for example, the open head, you might sometimes feel pressure to do things like, I need to figure out things. And So it's also really powerful to be aware about our open centers so that they are not in the driver's seat anymore. And then we
Yeah.
can just, drive our lives from our true inner authority. So for you and I, we have the same, it's the gut. For all some other people, it's something different. Instead of, for example, being driven by the open emotional or the open head or the open ego, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you say, like for our readers, what are some techniques to for example, what could I do to help that, like the open crown, for example, the open head center? Are there some
Yeah.
techniques in
So the
my
open
daily
head,
life I can?
yeah, it's a good question. So for the open center, so first of all, it's always awareness. So it's like building this muscle of awareness. So maybe my first advice would be, if you start practicing your design, is to start noticing when you are making decisions, not from your inner authority. So for example, for you, not from the gut, but when you are making decisions and actions from your open centers. So
Yeah.
just somehow training yourself to notice it, because the more you notice it and the more you can get out, of that pattern that can
Yeah.
be, like a habit. And then when you have an open center, it's very good. Another practical practice is to do anything that will train this muscle of observing your thought without immediately acting on it. Because when we have this open head, we have a lot passing here. I also have this, the same as you, like open crown, open head. And we have many thoughts, many ideas. Like the super good thing about it is that we can get very easily inspired by our environment and the people around us, and we can get many ideas and things like that. But also we can feel very scattered and
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
chicken without head
I
running
recognize this.
everywhere.
Yeah. Like that.
And basically, yes. So for us, it can really help us to practice anything that train us in witnessing the thoughts passing by, the ideas passing by, and knowing that every thought passing, every idea passing is not actually ours, and that we can just then tune into our authority. For example, I have an idea passing by. The old me, let's say, before human design, would immediately act on it. Oh, I have to do that. But now what I'm doing is that, okay, I'm pausing and then I tune into my gut. I'm like, do I feel lit up by this idea? Yes or no? If I feel lit up, then I'm going to go and make it happen. If not, then I'm just letting it passing by
Yeah.
like a cloud. So of course, things like meditation can help. But for some people, maybe it's gardening, anything that can just, help you to not be always acting after your thought, because
Yeah.
the open mind is a lot of pressure. It feels pressure to act on ideas and thought.
I
So
think
this
that's
can
so
be one
helpful, yeah,
thing. And
for lots of our
yeah,
listeners, yeah.
yeah. And another practical thing, also very easy, very simple, because I love easy and simple, because I think this is how we make change. Easy and simple and a small step. So a small step would be also like to do a very, very simple to-do list. I used to do very long to-do lists, very detailed and everything. And no, like if I'm like, okay, today, what are the 2 or 3 most important things for me and the things that feel satisfying and that are lighting me up? I put them very simple. And then when I see that my open mind is, my open head is being dragged somewhere else, I'm like, oh, I'm coming back to those 3 things that are 2 or 3 things
Yeah.
that are important for me today.
So you don't do
So
more
yeah,
than
so those
two,
are
three things
only,
a day. Yeah.
yeah, it's, maybe I will do more, but it's just that this simple list will help me to come back to myself when my open head is taking me somewhere else.
Yeah. I think that's
Because
so
with the
helpful,
open
yeah.
head we can easily
Yeah.
be pulled to somewhere else, and then at the end of the day I'm like, oh, I didn't do
What
what
did
was important for me
yeah,
because I
what
got
did I
pulled
actually
in
do?
this.
Yeah.
uh, exactly. So this simple tip I found can be also very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. And also setting an
Yeah,
intention for the day. That is something that
yeah,
helps me a lot in the
yeah,
morning, setting the intention. What is my intention?
totally.
And then always when I want to get scattered
Exactly.
and oh yeah, maybe I should do that. And maybe then I would say, no, this
Exactly.
was my intention. That really helps, yeah.
Exactly.
But I'm
Yeah,
also still not
yeah,
perfect at it,
yeah.
huh? Just to say, also being a human
No,
design
it's
reader
it's
doesn't
a
mean that we
journey.
are allowed. Yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey also for
It's
ourselves.
totally a journey. It's a journey and it's a practice and it's totally, I guess, a life journey, you know. But I
Yeah,
find it's a very rewarding one. I find
yeah.
myself. Yeah.
So yeah, so last question: how can work with you? Do you also work in English, I guess, or only in French? Because
Yeah.
on your Instagram, it's everything in French. So
Yeah. So just to keep it simple, on my Instagram, I just do French also. Yeah, because that's my native language. But I definitely have clients that come to me for readings in English. So I also love doing that. So basically, I think what I will do is that I will give you maybe a document like a PDF where I put all the information for the people that want to get a reading. And then basically they just need to contact me through my Instagram account or my email address. And I will also give you those information.
yeah,
Maybe we can put them
in the
below
show notes.
the
Yeah,
video
I will
or the
put it all in
podcast
the show notes.
in the
Yeah,
show notes.
yeah,
Yeah, in the show notes. Exactly.
great.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah, about this first kind of
Me
very
too.
important one. Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
Linda,
Yeah.
for sharing all of this, and also the little mini reading, so that listeners can really get an kind of a little bit of a glimpse how it looks like, such a reading.
Yeah.
And I can only recommend it
Yeah.
to everyone to go into this because it's really life changing. And at the end, it affects even. That's why I work now. I will work now with it with digestion and food because it affects everything at the end. Because even for food, we have
Yeah.
to do choices, and often we do
Yeah.
mind-based choices, where we
Yeah.
think, no, I
Yeah.
read in this magazine that I have to
Yeah.
drink my green juice every morning, or my celery juice or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you read all these different things. But
Mm-hmm.
if you feel the resistance to the
Mm-hmm.
celery juice, maybe it's not the right choice for you. That's
No,
just a little
totally.
a completely different topic, but
Totally.
it's very powerful, human design. And really, I can tell
Yeah.
everybody who's now listening, take the chance to talk with Linda. She's great, and it will really open a completely new world,
Mm.
I would say.
At least
Do
that's
you
what
have
we
one last
right
sentence to
because
share? One last sentence to share with our listeners
um
before we end the episode?
yeah, I just want to say that with the human design, you will, at least it was like that for me, you will probably, like, what I like about human design is that most of the time it's just putting words on things that we already felt about us,
That's it.
but somehow we didn't allow ourselves,
Allow it.
to
Yeah.
believe it or to yes, or to trust it. And that's just what I like, is that it's putting words on things you probably already know about yourself, and then it will just give your permission slip. So yeah, just know with which tool you need to do that, but just give yourself permission to be who you are.
I love this sentence. Putting words on things you already felt. I have to write it
Yeah.
down. Sorry. It's so powerful. Yeah. Yeah, great. Thank you, Linda. And
Yeah, thank you
yes,
so much.
and stay
I had a
tuned,
blast.
our
Thanks.
listeners, for our next episode, which I will share very soon the topic. And thanks for listening in, and have a great day, or whenever you're listening to this. Bye, Linda.
Bye. Thank you, Sarah.